Hello, welcome to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, where I discuss the future of this region blessed with hydrocarbon and human resources. Every week, we give time to reflecting on topics relevant to the development of the Niger Delta and her people. Now, this episode, no different. I'm here and we're focusing once again on how to take this region to a more promising future. The podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC, Renaissance Total Energies Active Joint Venture. Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining. I'm Adid Dayo in Lushakin. Our topic for this episode is Stemming the Tide, Education and the Future of the Niger Delta. Today, we're turning our attention to a powerful intersection education, science, and opportunity. Across the Niger Delta, communities are rich in talent, curiosity, and potential. Yet, the challenges are real environmental pressures, unemployment, skills gaps, and limited access to quality education. In a rapidly changing world, one question becomes increasingly urgent. How do we prepare the next generation not just to survive, but to lead? STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics has emerged as one of the most important tools for transformation, not as an abstract concept, but as a bridge between knowledge and solution building. In this episode, we examine how STEM education can unlock innovation, power development, and help reimagine what's possible for the Niger Delta. Again, today the topic on Canvas is STEM mean the tide, education and the future of the Niger Delta. And my guest is Gabriel Misa Gabramns. Gabriel Misa Gabramns, or GMG, is an award winning STEM development consultant and CEO of STEM Professionals Limited. He leads the STEM Festival Global Initiative, taking young innovators from the Niger Delta to global stages in Panama, Turkey, and Singapore. A World Robot Olympiad International judge and recipient of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Award. GMG is focused on positioning the Niger Delta as a leading hub for STEM innovation in Africa. Gabriel Mesa Gabrams, or GMG, welcome to Converse in Niger Delta Roundtable.
Thank you.
So, what would you prefer I refer to you? Do you prefer Gabriel or do you like GMG?
Whichever one. GMG, fine. If you want to call me Gabriel, that's fine too.
Well, you must have put GMG in your profile for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, you like GMG?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we go with GMG then.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here once again.
Thank you.
Let's start from the beginning. What sparked your interest in STEM? And I think interest might be a very subtle term to use because many persons are interested in STEM, but few people go to the extent that you have gone in your quest to build with STEM, if you will. How did that come about for you? What's your origin story?
Yeah. So for me, growing up in the Niger Delta, noticed over time that, we had so much potential. The creativity is there, the quest, to build world-class solutions. And it's been that the challenge has been uh, not so much of systems put in place to, harness or to translate that potential into real economic value. And I observed that the Niger Delta native is very smart, right? But do not have enough opportunities to really express or the platform to build, to showcase this talent. And I found STEM as the level playing field and the opportunity.
What is the connection between the Niger Delta as currently is and the future? Why is STEM critical to the future of the Niger Delta in particular?
Really, The Niger Delta, for Niger Delta, STEM is not optional anymore. It's foundational. And the reason for that is a strategic, you know, um, thing for the regions, a strategic thing for the future for the region because, as over the years, Niger Delta has powered economies from beneath the ground. I think the next phase, should be powering economies from the minds of our people, and that's why STEM it's very strategic for the Niger Delta going forward. Of course, that historically more gold has been mined from the thoughts of men than has ever been taken from the soil, and that's why STEM is very critical for the Niger Delta.
Let's talk briefly about your organization, STEM Professionals Limited. What do you do there?
Very practical, hands-on STEM development. So young people engage practically in building skills, critical thinking using robotics, building software, animation, game development, IoT, blockchain technology, drone technology, and focusing on solving practical problems.
And in doing this, when I read out your profile a while ago, you don't just do that here. You take some of these young persons from the Niger Delta overseas to go showcase their talent as well. Uh, let's talk a bit about that. Your forays overseas and all of these Olympiads and competitions that you go for. How does that work?
All right. So in our work, we've come to realize that competition has a way of rapidly scaling things, just helping people learn better, when they're very competitive, or showcase more their internal powers when it's competitive. So part of what we do is to, you know, provide that opportunity for the Niger Delta um, native to compete, and one of such platforms is the World Robot Olympiad. So that's just robotics for robotics. So every year we, scout out, for the best in the process of building, for the best to represent the region in different countries every year.
And how do the students from within the Niger Delta who've taken part in this, how do they qualify for it? How does that work? How do they get to be a part of this?
All right. So you join the STEM program in your school and come out to a platform like the STEM Festival and compete. STEM Festival has 6 competition areas. Now, but if you're in robotics and in that category, that age category, your focus is to qualify for that international competition. So you do that and then qualify to go for the national, maybe Lagos, go to Lagos, yeah, compete, and then have a ticket qualify from there also to represent the region in the international. So it happens in different countries every year.
Who organizes the STEM festival?
You have STEM professionals and the Nigeria Computer Society and other partners, including Anna Maria in the US and many other partners.
So it takes place in different countries annually, overseas, I
The
suppose.
STEM Festival happens here. STEM Festival is a Niger Delta born initiative. Actually, it's a global idea coming from it. The Niger Delta is a platform to, express, build solutions, and then qualify to, for other opportunities here locally and internationally.
So the last World
Robot
Robotics Olympiad, where did that take place?
Singapore.
Okay. Now, I mean, it must cost money to fly students from here to Singapore or wherever else because you said the countries change annually.
Yeah.
Who foots this bill?
So that has been one of the toughest thing in my work, funding. Now, um, we rally around, meet people who support us locally, who believe in what we're doing, and able to raise funding sometimes. And then the parents of these children will also believe in what we're doing and want to give the opportunity to their children. So it's been the toughest thing, really. But sometimes you see some children who qualify and not able to make it because of the financial implications. So it's been that really tough, but we are able to raise money from individuals and then parents who believe in what we're doing.
So pardon the expression, but do you have to be a rich kid to be a part of this?
Now, you don't have to. That's our vision. That's our mission to try to democratize it. To STEM is for every child, everybody, and that's what we're partnering with organizations like the NEDC and others who can support this in a larger scale, and then give the opportunity to more children to participate who are extremely brilliant and intelligent.
Now, when I was reading your profile, I found that you've also been a judge at the World Robotics Olympiad. I mean, that must be a very big deal. How does one become a judge in something so high profile?
Okay, so you're doing things in your locality, and it's spotted, and you you're spotted, and then called upon to do that. We partner with an organization in Lagos, the ArcLight, where we come together on that platform as a nation. You come from different regions, like we are South here in Niger Delta, and then together we represent the country. So because of my background and what I've done so far, I got that opportunity to to be that, and I got to discover that I was even the only one from West Africa, you know, for that particular category as the future engineers category.
Oh, we'll come back to this competitions and contests and STEM professionals, limited participation, and all of that. We'll come back to that shortly. But the whole essence of education, I suppose, intrinsically, is problem solving,
Exactly.
and it has to be practical. So, in what ways or how is STEM education solving or intended to solve real Niger Delta problems?
There, if you look at what we see, what we call in problems, especially in Nigeria, that you see they are environmental issues, they are um, unemployment, they are um, things around that shouldn't be seen as problems, but innovation and engineering opportunities. And STEM empowers young people to build solutions. So that become opportunity, for young people to rather not complain about problems, but build solutions for this problem.
So we've while it's plausible for persons like yourself and organizations like yours to advocate and make efforts in ensuring that STEM education, becomes the order of the day, the norm. But we've always had STEM. I mean, even I dare say, even from when I was in school long ago, some years ago. So, what is it that you would like to see change? What is it exactly that you want to see done different from the way STEM education has been run or managed, if you will, in the Niger Delta? What do you want to see done different?
So what I want to see done different is that we must move from um, we must move to practice based learning. You know, where that means you know building STEM labs. That means um, providing the tools for young people to innovate, because a student doesn't become an innovator by listening. You become an innovator by building. So if we have the STEM labs and the tools, young people are going to build really, and that's practical, and that's going to be what I like to see in the region, that we have many STEM labs and many young people who can participate from wherever they are.
This STEM labs, are they going to be in individual schools, or are they going to be some central location in a community, or in a township or something? What's the design really?
We can now we have several designs that we've developed. It could be in schools, and then it could be in central places where people can really more young people can have access to directly. Now, for those who can, and we don't have to really start big, you can start small, so we can have it in a central place where people come, have access to it, and then it begins to spread from there. Gradually, we increase, the number of STEM labs that we have, to serve young people.
What is your assessment of STEM education in Niger Delta at the moment? How would you assess it?
Well, that's the core of my work. It is something I've developed called the GMD framework. Um, Currently, um, I would say it's somewhere very low, below expectation. And I mean, I'll give it on a scale of 1 to 100. I mean, I'll give it about 40%. Based on the little we've been able to do, and some other people, the community is expanding, and the interest, at the rooftop here and there across the states, and so on. So if we key into this atmosphere, things are just gonna go up.
You talked about practicality of STEM education. You talk about having STEM labs.
Yeah.
What does a STEM lab look like?
Okay. So here's a building equipped with tools to build robots, equipped with computers, equipped with several tools that everybody needs to build the circuits, the boards, the 3D printing machines. I mean, everything that a child needs to build. If you think about an idea and you go straight to build it, you have all the tools you need to build
It,
software and all of that.
isn't this some far-fetched idea? It's good idea, yes, but far-fetched because if you visit an average school, especially state-run schools in the region, take River State for example, the stories that we hear and the stories that we see pictorially are not very good. You have schools that don't even have ceilings, and you're talking about STEM labs. So is it far fetched? You have schools that don't even have enough teachers, enough human capital, and you're talking computers and robotics and all that. So what I'm saying is, or asking, I think is this just some idealistic thought and something that's not actually practicable?
It is practicable because we've done that over the years. We're just looking for a way to scale it further for more children to participate. So what we've done, very practicable, is it's something that is it's transferable. You can pick it and replicate it small small measure in small uh, and have it in different places, starting from small, and then you can reach more people. So it's not idealistic. It's something real. It's something practicable, really.
So in terms of what STEM professionals has done, what exactly have you done in terms of building capacity? How do you go about doing that? What have you built really?
Okay, so we've been able to build. We built software. We built indigenous robots that can perform, you know, uh, tax, international tax. Okay, now over the years in our work, we get these kits, we import kits and build with them, but over time, uh, it's too expensive, of course, right? It's so expensive, and not every child can afford that. And we thought about it. Okay, uh, went to the into you know table and start designing. We have all the skills. We have all the knowledge that we need, and we started building. So we have what we call this STEM butter, and it's an indigenous robotics kit that any child can use to innovate. And we tested that last year in Turkey, in Singapore rather, and it was a great experience. So we want to expand from that, and that's quite cheap, cheaper compared to getting things from abroad. And with this, our goal is to be able to help every child have access to these tools to build.
On the average, how much does, speaking figures now, let's be practical, what would it cost to put up a STEM lab?
So you can do it in different sizes. So you can start with as low as 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and so forth.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
Well, it doesn't, because if you were able to put up a STEM lab with 1 million naira, and then you can serve several children, several young people can benefit from it.
If you were going to put up one in a school, for example, say one of our state public schools, how much would be ideal to have a proper STEM
Oh,
lab in a
we
school?
can start from as low as 500,000, because that's a public school. You want to start small, right? If you get a kit and you keep somewhere and say this space is dedicated for STEM activities, you've already started the STEM lab. So you have that. The children can come, they look at the sensors, they look at this, they can have an idea in their head and then begin to try it and begin to, you know, work on it and have different practical experiences. And then you've already started the STEM lab.
So if 500,000 to 1 million can put up a STEM lab in a school, I'm here thinking right now, why doesn't all our schools in the Niger Delta, or even starting with River State, why doesn't every school have a STEM lab?
That's why we're advocating for that, because you have to see the need first. You have to understand how this translates into economic power, into economic value, and then you do it. So that's why we're talking, and that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Do you think that those who run education in our parts don't understand the importance, don't see what you're seeing?
Yeah, yeah, they didn't, and that's why the market education, it's very important, which is what we've been doing for many years right now, and a lot of the schools are beginning to respond. Of course, you have that more in the private schools, because they're kind of more competitive. If let me put it that way, from experience, they're kind of more competitive. They want their schools to be comparable to those schools abroad, and for their children to have that same exposure as a counterpart, global counterparts. And so they're responding more than the public schools.
So you have the World Robotics Olympiad. Um, are there any other such international engagements that STEM professionals helps kids be a part of?
Yeah, we prepared children for the first Lego League, FLL, that happens in the US.
What did you call it?
First Lego League, FLL.
What's that?
It's a competition just like the World Robot Olympiad.
Okay.
It's a robotics competition organized in the US. So
So how have our children fared at these international events?
beautiful question, Nair. Just like I told you, it's always been not so easy to get this, but because of determination, we've been able to, get some children to really go and represent the region. Um, Last year was Singapore 2025. Because of funding challenges, the entire team, we arrived Singapore on the day of the competition and missed something very critical. It's called calibration time. That is the time you ought to set up, have the time to test run, because a lot of things can change. A lot of things affect your work, even the environment, the lighting system. Your sensors have to adjust to the new environment and do all the calibration. If you miss that moment, it's capable of reducing your point or reducing your performance. Now, that was the experience. Even at that, the the senior team was able to stand up shoulder to shoulder with many other counterparts, and were able to beat several other countries from the Middle East, from maybe North America, from Europe. And the results are online, actually. You can see them. The team, uh, senior team, one of the teams represent Nigeria from the Niger Delta, is called Team Forge. So if you look at the results, you're going to see where they are on on the leaderboard, beating several other countries that you ordinarily think that are well established, have all the funding and all of that. Many of them arrived in Singapore like 3 days, had the time to relax, to prepare. And so, and that's why we know that when this is given more attention, then you see that the Niger Delta child is extremely intelligent and brilliant.
Don't mind my doubling down on this, but we came what position?
Okay, so we came we're 74 on the list of 100 and over 110 thereabout.
Okay. I'll ask you more on this when we return, but we have to go for a break now. It's Canvas the Niger Delta Roundtable. We're discussing STEM in the tide, education and the future of the Niger Delta. My guest is GMG. Just stay with us. We'll be right back in a bit.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large. Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back to Converse to Niger Delta Roundtable. I'm Dial, and still with Gabriel Misa Gabramns, the founder, CEO, STEM Professionals Limited. You are founder, CEO, right? And president and chairman. Great. I will discuss instead mean the tide. Yes, play on words. Education and the future of the Niger Delta. Um, so GMG, as we've discussed thus far, we have a humongously disproportionate number of underserved communities or underserved children in the Niger Delta. I'm not sure if we have, well, maybe a handful of state-run schools that may have a STEM lab. In your experience, let me start from there. In your experience, do we have any state-run school in the Niger Delta, for example, that has a functional STEM lab that you know of?
None.
None. Okay, so maybe, and even for the private schools, maybe just some.
A couple of them, yeah.
A couple of them. They may not all have them. And they're very likely the high-end private schools, I suppose.
Sure.
Okay. So we have a large underserved community or a number of students, children in Niger Delta. How do we ensure STEM opportunities reach those underserved children?
So it's very critical. You know, this is where we call on the government. There's the role of it, because there's something that just brings everything together. The government, of course, the private sector also. Now we have to take opportunity to them. You know, not everybody is capable of finding opportunities. So taking this to them is an opportunity. Taking opportunity to the underserved communities. So we, in our efforts, we started something we call the STEM Niger Delta, taking uh, things in a mobile form to these young people in the different communities. Just have an exposure to it. Oh, you can build something that works. You can do this. You can be this person, doing this kind of stuff in this country, in that country. And they say, oh, wow, really? And that inspires them and motivates them, and they're ready to, to learn and to do all of that.
Does this part sound quite pedestrian? My next question. But why do we need to ensure that our children are able to build? I mean, somebody else is going to build it, but the Chinese are going to build it. They or other Asians are going to build it. They're already building anyway. The Americans or Europeans are going to build it. So let them build it, and we can simply, employ or utilize what they built over there and use them here.
Dio, sincerely, innovation, just like that, is one of what I usually say every time. Innovation is not imported; it is trained. Now, if you want to be competitive in the global economy, you don't wait to consume, but create. So it's time for our people to start, you know, creating and not just only consume. So by creating, you localize what you have. You make it African, right? You don't just over depend on others to build before you come up to use and just to use.
Ever so often, when conversations ensue over STEM, education, and other such fields, you find on certain other levels particular advocacy for girls and women. Is there a particular reason for that? Because when we talk about underserved communities in the Niger Delta, for example, I'm sure it covers even male students as well. So, why is there, on some level, uh, a particular focus on girls? Do you understand? I mean, because it's your field. Is there a particular reason for that? And if that's the case, or if there's some reason for it, as I suppose there is, um, what should we need to do? We need to be doing to encourage girls and women to take up STEM fields.
Good question. There is a misconception, and that's the reason for that. So it's been there that engineering or problem solving is for the male counterpart, but that's not true. So and it's looking like we're spending more time or energy to convince to tell them to say, oh, girls, women, you have to be part of this because STEM is about problem solving, and problem solving is valuable everywhere, anywhere. It's about solving problem, critical thinking, and you know developing solutions, and that's what everybody needs, and that is everywhere. So it's not something for the male counterpart alone. So we are doing that advocacy just to erase that misconception.
I know we talked a bit about this earlier, but I'd like for you to elaborate somewhat. So, no doubt government, private institutions have roles to play in this. What do they need to be doing? How can we spread, knowledge about STEM education everywhere and make it a commonplace thing?
Exactly. And we say STEM shouldn't be a privilege, but should be, you know, fundamental, something everybody has access to. So the government is to provide the enabling environment, the systems, and the private sector, you know, support the process by, equipping, funding these these processes or the tools required for more people, more young people to participate in STEM. So it's very important, for the government and the private sector to be part of this to spread the STEM opportunity.
Hmm. You use the word systems. And you've used that before in the first half of the conversation. What are these systems that government needs to put in place?
So every now and then you check maybe when you talk about just like we're talking now, and you just see one STEM program there. Oh, STEM for girls, this there and all of that, and after that, that's it. It's not a one-time thing. It is something that should be built into the process of learning for every child. So we organize, for example, the STEM festival. It's it's something very brilliant that that is increasing the interest in young people all over across the region. Now, even that is not enough. It's not going to stop there. So you come talk about STEM, build and compete systems would help you know us to follow up what has been done and then see it through to the end. Start here, get to this point, continue to this point, and so you don't just learn or come talk about STEM in one event, one program, and then you go. No, you continue the process, and that's what I mean by system.
How important or how crucial are mentorships and community programs in sustaining interest in STEM? And I think one of such programs, or mentorship, opportunities is the STEM festival
Exactly.
placed by STEM professionals. But then again, we appreciate that there are grossly underserved communities, and for example, those who can take part in STEM festivals are those who have a background in STEM, possibly from their school. And as we've agreed in this conversation, there are mostly a handful of private schools whose students have such opportunities. So are they really working? How effective are these mentorship opportunities like the STEM festival again and other such community programs? How effective really are they?
They are because though it's not happening at once in one day, but we're building the systems that can really bring the result that we require. Now, we're pairing people, right? When you come to a program like STEM Festival and you meet coaches, you meet judges, you meet people that you can talk to, you can ask questions who are also available even after the event, right? You can reach out to say, "Oh, this is what I'm building. What do I do next? What do you think?" And then you get that mentorship. So mentorship and follow up is very key. It's very important, and it shortens the journey. For young people, they are able to know that, oh, you can do it. You can build it. You can get to this point. You can get to this point, and that's been powerful. So gradually we are building that ecosystem, to help mentorship realistic.
So it's good. I do submit, especially for those students who, I may use the term, are fortunate to, whose parents or guardians are able to afford for them to have certain experiences or go to certain schools where they have STEM.
Activities, yeah.
Exactly, and then they can take part in STEM festival, for example. But if you go to the average public school, say in Emohua or in Gokana or in Tai, where students don't have such access, they can take part in the STEM festival because they don't even have any.
The tools and all of that
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know all of that, and we are bridging the gap. That's what we're working very hard to, partnering with many organizations like the NDDC, to the local government areas to support us to reach these children and these young people, uh, like what we call the STEM Niger Delta, bringing this to them, getting closer to them, go around the communities and, um, expose them to what is possible. Now, we've made room for such people, even at STEM Festival, that, oh, you have no experience. Okay, come around, attend the event, see what your mates are doing. Now, what we want to test may not really be experience, but your intelligence. So we can provide all the tools. That's part of what we started doing from the inception of the STEM Festival. Come around, we set the tools, everything for you. Say, okay, this is the tax. We want to see how brilliant, how intelligent you are. So we provide that, and then you see that these children are extremely intelligent, extremely intelligent. So we have space and provision for such children who have not had the opportunity of being involved in STEM activities to still participate in programs like STEM Festival.
So I imagine that there are some parents or guardians who are listening to this right now or watching this now, and maybe in their community or the schools that they're able to afford their children access to STEM education is not a thing there. What can they do on an individual basis to expose their children or their wards to the opportunities that lie in STEM education?
Okay. First of all, they can reach out to begin with. Reach out. There are, you know, programs in smaller chunks that you can get started with. Um, See how to just code visual coding that doesn't take much. All you have to do is a little guide. Okay, download this into your laptop, into your device, or on a phone, as little as a phone, maybe your auntie's phone, your uncle's phone, and have access to it and begin to see how things move. You can program a game, you can program, you can, so that you move from just playing the game to designing the game and all of that. So it begins from taking the first step as a guardian or a parent to start with.
How about as groups of people or as a community, maybe who have some association or some grouping under which they come together? What can they do as a community?
They can come together and um, encourage their young people to be part of STEM activities to start, so they can, put resources together and say, okay, let's provide this for these children in this community to have access to. Maybe just go learn how to put things together, begin to, they begin to think, begin to, program, begin to build stuff, no matter how small in that community. So if any group of persons in a community do that, does that, that will be a blessing they're making available for the children in that community.
What kind of STEM driven innovation are you hopeful of seeing in the Niger Delta?
Now, I want to see in the nearest future, as we've envisaged, you know, um, sectors in the Niger Delta powered by indigenous solutions, whether in health, in agriculture, and all across the economy. And we're confident about that because we've seen young people here who are capable of building world-class solutions. And and that's why the platform STEM Festival is a fantastic thing. If you can just take a moment in your free time to just go on the website and look at the competition tags, it's first fun and then solution driven. And that a child of 8 can build an app to educate you about Nigerian foods, you know, or some agricultural, uh, things to know. Or somebody, a teenager, can build an emergency response app that could have saved somebody like a junior pope, when he got drowned, you know, that and if somebody of 18, 19, 20 can build a blockchain solution that can, help our elections run in a better way. I mean, it's shocking for you to know what young people are capable of doing, but are not out there, don't have the platform to build, which is one of the reasons why we started such a platform like STEM Festival that provides that opportunity to build.
And to be able to do these things, don't you have to get some really high level education or go outside the country, overseas, maybe to get some really expensive education? Because you hear of people who are doing great stuff, and they're mostly overseas. I think there's that Nigerian as well who's into robotics. Don't quite remember her name.
Oh, is Adekunle?
Yeah, I think that's him. One of the foremost robotics persons in the world. I think what company is he working for right now? I don't quite remember. And not as it matters. But don't you have to be over there, overseas, in some Asian country or the US, for example, to accomplish things like this?
No, that's the intriguing part of this story. Um, you don't have to. You see, the young people that have worked with me, over the years, some of them have not even gone to the university yet. So there's this young person where when they talk about robotics, who got so intrigued by what I was saying, and then just came, just a young boy. I said, "Oh wow, everything you said was just what I've been dreaming of, and all of that." And came close and said, "Oh no, we only accept interns who are graduates who were done with school and all of that." And they insisted, together with the parent and all of that. And then we accepted this young person. Just a couple of years down the line, he can build machine learning models, can build software. Think about it. Right now, we're building some solutions that will soon be launched that you won't believe some of the people behind it are just very young people solving practical problems, whether in aviation, in 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 different industries, right? So you don't have to go anywhere. It's just about sitting down and learning and building. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to go to any country and all of that. Practically, these are what we have on ground right now.
So to that young person, or not so young person, maybe they're in secondary school, maybe they're in primary school, maybe they're in some tertiary facility, institution, and they're thinking, I'd like to go into this, I'd like to explore this some more, but don't even know what the first step should be for them. What advice do you have?
So just start from where you are. You don't have to have everything. Just start from where you are. Um, Start with what you have, and gradually you find yourself doing it. Start with what you have. Start from where you are. You don't have to have everything. Just,
What what
just
what could I have that can enable me start?
a smartphone. At least you can start with researching, and then from there, let me tell you a story. That I was in the beginning part of my career or journey in tech. Um, I never had a laptop. I was already in the university, and I didn't have a laptop. I would go to my friends and say, "Oh, can I have access to this laptop just for a short while?" And I would, few minutes, I would just stay there, and it wasn't long. I was bought a brand new laptop, and I started developing, building software, and coding and programming and all of that. So start from where you are right away, as small as, in fact, talk about it. Tell an auntie, tell an uncle, I want to get a laptop. I want to get somehow that quest, just as a way of bringing things to you gradually. You don't have to wait to have everything, all the tools to start. Just start from where you are and with what you have.
Any final words before we wrap it up?
So um, I want to say that, very importantly, that the Niger Delta over the years has powered economies from the ground, just like I said before. But it's time to move to the next phase of powering economies from the minds of our people, all our people everywhere. And that would be a strategic investment into the future of the Niger Delta.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Converse in Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Barry Nathan's Stemming the Tide. Education and the future of the Niger Delta is what we've discussed as my guest, founder, STEM Professionals Limited, Gabriel Misa Gabramns, has said the Niger Delta has powered both the region and the rest of the country from the ground up. It's now to do so using our minds. STEM education is one sure way of accomplishing that. Thank you, GMG, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well. Catch this and other episodes on our YouTube page and other social media platforms. Thanks once again. I'm Dio, and bye for now.